Wonder, a reflection from the writings of our Mother Mary Frances. The human heart is always filled with some kind of wonder. It is one of the first signs of the growing awareness of a small child. Who has not smiled to see a little infant discovering that he has feet, he has hands? He waves them about and looks at them. He is full of wonder. Then, as he grows, he becomes more and more full of wonder at the things he can do. He can move. He can walk. Wonder is so radical to the human heart. But it is we who decide what kind of wonder fills our hearts. Sometimes there can be a depressive wonder. Why does God permit the things He does? Or we wonder about ourselves. We wonder how, after all the graces of Advent, we can still be so faulty and faltering. But all of these human wonderings, which left to themselves can become a dark wonder, must be changed into the wonder of light, that God does know exactly what He is about. There are so many things we cannot understand in the world, that we cannot understand in one another, and most deeply, that we cannot understand in ourselves. But in all of these, we are full of wonder that God is nevertheless working out His own divine plans. Let these precious hours of Advent be given to wonder. When we feel depressed by our faults, let us wonder that God can forgive us so much. Let us be filled with wonder and praise that God goes on believing in us, hoping in us, and trusting that we will somehow yet realize His dream of us. I love to watch the flower bulbs putting their little shoots through what looks like a dark tangle of mulch. If these were sentient bulbs, I think they might say, "This is too hard. How can I push through such a tangle of things?" Yet out of this rather depressing-looking tangle come up those tiny, pure white heads. We can learn so much from the bulbs. We are like sentient bulbs, and we cannot say, "I cannot push through, it's too hard." We who have grace, who have power given us by God, we can push through. And so I think it is a very solid Advent practice to pray, "God, grant me the grace to push through. Grant me the grace to realize my own possibilities, to realize your dream of me." For God is looking at us and giving us the grace to wonder what we can do with His help. We should be filled with wonder at our possibilities, at His hope in us, at His dream of us. We shall take that great faculty of wonder into eternity, so let us never misuse it with thoughts like, "Why do things have to be this way? Why is another person doing these things? Why did it turn out that way?" Dark wonder is a terrible thing, because it is a misuse of a power we shall take into eternity, where we shall wonder at the wondrousness of God forever. We shall wonder at our salvation forever. In eternity, many expressions of our humanity will cease. There will be no hunger or thirst, but wonder will be eternally there, the wonder of God. There will be nothing then to say to one another but, "Holy, holy, holy." This wonder which perdures for all eternity is, like all wonder, a growing wonder. That is why the chorus of the blessed is not "one holy," but instead they keep crying out to one another, because the wonder grows. We want to use this great faculty, which will find its fullness in eternity, as God wishes us to use wonder. In these Advent days, let us wonder more than ever before that God should have chosen such a way as He did to save us. Who could have dreamed that the Almighty, omnipotent God would enter into humanity in such a way and in such circumstances? According to our human reckoning, it was all wrong. The place was wrong. The situation was wrong. There were no human worshippers at first, and the angels themselves quickly disappeared into the night. Be filled with wonder at God's way of doing things, and then be full of wonder at the way He lived. With all His miraculous powers, with all His infinite love, He was rejected by so many, and yet he went on. He was not thanked, but he went on. By some he was not loved, but he went on. We are filled with wonder above all at the pinnacle of redemption, the triumph of his love. Again, we would say that this is all wrong, to be reduced to such a condition, tortured and bleeding to death on a cross. But it was the triumph of his love. Let us be filled with wonder at God's way of doing things and apply this to our lives. We want to be filled with wonder and with praise, as Our Lady's heart was filled with wonder and praise. In the cave at Bethlehem, she was filled with wonder, and under the cross she was filled with wonder. This is the great invitation of Advent, that we should not misuse that sense of wonder that God has put into every human heart. Let us never be filled with dark wonder at the things that go wrong and the things that are wrong, but let us be filled with wonder that God can make all things right, and that He will, if we allow Him. Let us be filled with the greatest wonder that He chose to come in such guise that we could hold Him to our hearts, that He came small enough for us to take into our arms. May we be filled with wonder at God's love, at God's forgiveness, at God's unswerving hope in us. Let us never misuse wonder, this faculty that we shall take into eternity.